Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the English News Edition brought to you live from RTD channel. The headlines for tonight are: the last farewells of the Djiboutian to the diva Fatouma Ahmed Dembil, and the Health Minister addressed World Health Assembly. And in sport, concerning the Champions League, Zinedine Zidane announced UCL final squad includes Son. Let's get into the details now. The funeral of Fatouma Ahmed Dembil, this golden voice of the Djiboutian song, died forever in the night from Wednesday to Thursday in a hospital in Turkey following a long illness. At the announcement of her death, the head of state Ismail Margili paid to the deceased artist a vibrant tribute, calling it an icon of the struggle of independence. The deceased mortal remains was buried yesterday morning, let's recall, in Djibouti in the presence of many officials. The mortal remains was repatriated yesterday by aircraft from Turkish Airlines. The deceased Fatouma Ahmed Dembil has indeed contributed enormously to the sensitization and indoctrination of Djiboutian for an awareness in the fight against colonialism. Through her singing lyric and other gabais, the artist has thrilled indeed more than one in this famous song where Fatouma Ahmed Dembil castigates Europeans to call themselves democracies while reducing to slavery other peoples from African continent. No artist will have managed to mark this black era in the history of our country. The Djiboutian diva indeed managed to make all the audience cry in the stands of the Stalin Theatre where she performed with the band Ga'an Ma'an. May Allah welcome her in its eternal paradise. Fatouma Ahmed Dembil was a leading singer of her generation who entered the world of arts and entertainment at a very early age and amazed many Djiboutians. She was very appreciated by the musician lovers for her slender, shrill and engaging voice. Arrived in Djibouti in 1971 after having worked for the national radio artistic group Mogadishu, where she was one of the best voices of the Somali nation. She had campaigned in the pro-independence organization where she was an artist committed. The deceased leave behind many Djiboutian admirers. The Minister of Wealth and Culture, the Director of the RTD and all Djiboutian artists extend their deepest condolences to the family of the deceased. May Allah have mercy on her soul. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And as part of the work of the 71st World Assembly of the Health World Organization, one of the highlights of the participation of the Djiboutian delegation led by the Minister of Health, Dr. Jamal Moukiye, was the speech made by the later before an audience of delegates and Minister of Health of the 193 member states. Djibouti has been particularly honored this year since in addition to serving as Vice President of the World Health Assembly, our country has been elected to the WHO Executive Board, which has two main roles: an executive role to ensure the implementation of the decisions and policies of Health Assembly. In addition to the work of the World Assembly, the Health Minister conducted a series of bilateral meetings and with the technical as well financial partners of the Republic of Djibouti to discuss ways and means to consolidate the existing corporations. And after congratulating the new Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, for his leadership and his vision in developing a general program with a renewed ambition, the Health Minister, Dr. Jamal Moukiye, also Vice President of the 71st World Health Assembly, held the reform initiative and the UN organization to enable it to respond more effectively to current challenges of our country. In pursuing his speech, Dr. Jamal Moukiye also welcomed the theme chosen this year, which devotes a universal health coverage. Indeed, our country is now one of the leading African countries to have successfully implemented the universal health insurance. The leadership of the head of state, Ismail Margili, who is aware of the need health care more equitable to ensure each Djiboutian his right to health, launched the site of the MAU in Djibouti on 2014. The head of the Djiboutian delegation to the 71st World Assembly of the WHO met with the Director General of WHO, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, who praised the exemplary role of the Republic of Djibouti in the provision of care for migrant and cross-border population in areas plagued by civil wars and the massive flow of migrants. They later paid a vibrant tribute to the presidential initiative relating to the establishment of the universal health insurance and the constant concern of the national authorities to make the issue of gender at the heart of development and good governance. He praised also the leadership of the First Lady and President of the National Union of Djiboutian Women, Mrs. Khadra Mohamed Haid, in this dynamic. Finally, Dr. Jamal Moukiye paid a visit to the WHO Regional Director for the newly elected of the Regional Director for the WHO Eastern Mediterranean. He assured Dr. Ahmed Salim Saif Al-Mandari of Djibouti's full support in his new responsibilities. In an interview with the national television, the new WHO Regional Director did not fail to thank the government of the Republic of Djibouti and the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, for their support for the candidature of the Omani representative for the post of Regional Director in charge of the Mediterranean. Let's return now to the country's news. The situation in the city of Djibouti has improved significantly after the floods on last Sunday. The crisis staff in charge of the coordination of the rescue appealed to the defense forces, namely the army, the gendarmerie, the coast guard and the national police, in order to clear the roads. This is how these forces have been in action since Friday morning in each area assigned to him, alongside the technical as well services of the road network. To this end, the gendarmerie has mobilized nearly 200 personnel from different units to carry out a cleanup work and to restore the area. The gendarme has first of all cleaned up the primary school of RTD so that it could be operational for the contest of the OTI tomorrow. Then they progressed their cleaning operation till Mahmoud Habbi Place. This large-scale cleanup operation conducted by the gendarmerie was reviewed by the civil authorities, including the mayor of the Djibouti city, Fatima Awali Osman, as well as the sub-prefect of the 1st district, Abdi Hassan Ahmed, and that of the 2nd arrondissement, Mustafa Osman Roble. And after the rain that has fallen since last Saturday in the capital, it is time now to assess the damage after the floods on last Sunday that caused extensive damage in the capital and the rest of the country. The situation began yesterday to return to the normal. This bad weather caused material damage, flooding houses, mudslides and power cuts. The Djiboutian woke up in the waters the morning of Saturday in different parts of the capital. The damage caused by these torrential rains is enormous. Houses were flooded, cracked walks, latrine collapses following the flood. Stagnant water evacuation operations are underway in the capital's traffic arteries, as well as the cleaning of garbage through over roads and neighborhoods. This operation mobilized civil protection professionals and representatives of the police. It is also a question of repairing damaged sanitation infrastructure following torrential rains that hit the capital as well the interior regions during the night from Saturday to Sunday, and at the same time wastewater evacuation and cleanup operations for the benefits of the victims are currently being carried out in the various neighborhoods of the Djibouti city. And now, following the roads that caused a lot of material damage in our country, among the damage, the power outage in the evening of May 2018, 10,000 households were deprived of electricity because of the heavy rains. And according to the Company of Electricity of Djibouti, known as EDD, this breakdown is due to the water that has engulfed the power station of the capital district. This operation the operations manager of the EDD in Palmare, Abdi Dirir, has returned to this dark evening and how EDD has managed this kind of crisis. And on the day of Friday, May 25th, the staff of the Coast Guard of Djibouti and the Navy have participated alongside the Town Hall of Djibouti cleaning operation of major arteries of the capital damaged by heavy rainfall caused by the recent passage of tropical storm known as Sagar in the Gulf of Aden. Many institutions responded to the calls of Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic, who encouraged the army forces as well as the national security forces to take an active part in providing support and assistance to the civilian population. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed has taken steps to consolidate and coordinate the efforts of the various institutions that have found themselves engaged in efforts to cope with the consequence of heavy winds under the leadership of the Minister of the Interior Hassan Omar Mohammed. The Djiboutian Coast Guard and the Navy and the Djibouti City Council have since cleaned the following arteries: Avenue 3, Avenue 26 and Avenue Nasser. They proceeded to the collection of the waste left by the rain water, then proceeded to the filling by sons of the stagnant water. The neighborhood 5 elementary school also benefited from cleaning efforts through the pumping of stagnant water. Colonel Wais Omar Bokore, commander of the Coast Guard, Lieutenant Colonel Ahmed Dahir Jama and Fatuma Awal Osman, mayor of the Djibouti city, have commended the efforts undertaken to erase the consequence of these rains on the city of Djibouti. And in this obituary, it is with great sadness and emotion that we learned the dates last night in the afternoon of the late Ibrahim Yusuf Sawiye. Indeed, the late Ibrahim Yusuf passed away yesterday, late afternoon, after a long illness that has burdened him for more than 5 years. Born around 1913 Zayla, the late Ibrahim Yusuf was an employee in ADD before retiring in the mid-1918s to become then district chief of the Anglais city. The late Ibrahim Yusuf Sawiye was known for his outspokenness, sincerity and sympathy. He left behind a widow of 4 sons, including our colleague Mustafa Ibrahim, reporters and former editor-in-chief in television and radio, 12 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. All the staff of the RTD, the General Directorate and the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunication joined to present to the family of the deceased their sincere condolence in this painful moment, and we ask Allah to welcome him in its eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And the cyclone Mekonu claims a third life in Oman. Omanese government has declared a 3-day holiday after tropical cyclone Mekonu tore through the country. Report.
Has heated to term Oman, killing 2 people, including a 12-year-old girl, and leaving at least 3 others injured. Officials say the girl died after strong winds swept her against a wall. Police say another person was washed away in a car. TV showed a large area of flooding in Dhofar and Al-Westa provinces. The cyclone, which killed at least 7 people on the Yemeni island of Socotra on Friday, has no weakening and been downgraded to a tropical storm. The second date in Oman was recorded after a car deflated into a valley in the southern region of Dhofar following torrential rain. Royal Oman police tweeted on Saturday, thousands of people living near coastal areas in Dhofar and Al-Wusta had been moved to shelters as 117 kilometers per hour winds and torrential rain hammered the region. Officials say residents were told not to take risks by crossing valleys in the region.
Now concerning the Champions League, Zinedine Zidane can become Real Madrid's greatest ever manager. Caramba, the ex-Blancos star, believes victory over Liverpool in the Champions League final will cement the Frenchman standing at the top of the coaching game. Zinedine Zidane stands on the verge of becoming the #1 manager in Real Madrid history, claims ex-Blancos star Christian Caramba, already assured of legend status in the Spanish capital. So that's it for the news. Thanks for your attention.